We all know Gardevoir, Pokemon beloved by the community, some more literally than others. But anyway, this Pokemon holds a special place in the hearts of fans. But how exactly could someone change this beloved Pokemon into a horrific nightmare? Well, the Clockwork Crow on DeviantArt took that challenge and succeeded, creating not only a horrific story, but a very interesting one at the same time. Now, before we dive into the analysis, let's refresh ourselves with the story of Call of Charon. The story begins with our protagonist on a school bus. At some point, the engine breaks down, and during the stop, a beat-up Pokewalker slid to their seat. As they inspected, the bus started again and replaced it in their book bag. After they got home from school, they decided to plug it into their DS where they were playing Soul Silver on earlier. During that interaction, the Pokewalker turned on, revealing a Gardevoir. They decided to transfer Gardevoir into the game since it was one of their favorite Pokemon. During the transfer process, however, Charon, the Gardevoir, didn't load all the way. After that interesting encounter, they decided to get a closer look at Charon. They describe it as a dark, ugly green, with its hair being a dark shade of almost purple. They also describe its eyes as completely black, dripping a black ooze. The horn on its chest was also missing, dripping a similar ooze. They also describe its cry as sounding like it was in pain. They decided to turn off their DS for a moment, but afterwards they looked at the Pokemon further. They say it's level 100 but had 0 HP. They also point out that its moves could be wrong for its level, but they didn't pay much attention to what levels Pokemon learn certain moves. Charon knew Perish Song, Destiny Bond, Shadow Ball, and Teleport. By this point, they had come to the conclusion that the Pokemon was hacked, and were confused on why it had Teleport, but they didn't question it. They decided to swap Charon out with the Pokemon at the front of their party, so they could get involved and heal up Charon as well. Afterward, they were shocked that Charon's HP was still at 0. Since Charon was at the front of their party, they decided to talk to it. After they started the conversation with Charon, the following text popped up. Charon wants you to follow him. Will you follow Charon? Yes or no? While still confused, they decided to say yes since nothing bad was happening so far. Afterward, they found themselves in the old chateau with Charon by their side. In shock, they turned around to try and leave, but the following text appeared. The door is locked from the outside. There is no way to leave yet. Out of frustration, they opened up the party to move Charon from the front of the party. But to their shock, it was empty, aside from Charon. With no other options, they proceed through the old chateau and come across the Ghastly. They use Shadow Ball with the hopes that they could weaken and catch it, but it knocked its health to 0. Instead of saying it fainted, the game said Wild Ghastly was caught. They checked their party and sure enough Ghastly was there, but was still fainted. They talked to Charon again, and again Charon asked if they want to follow him. Hoping that it's a way out, they select yes. Instead it leads them further into the old chateau, where they find a Ghastly which repeats the cycle of fainting it so it can join the party. Charon leads them into the room where you catch Rotom. However, the room looked like it was rotting away with holes in the wall and floor. Charon then proceeds to walk to the center of the room with the Ghastly circling around it. Charon then turns around to face them and supposedly used Perish Song, but it had extremely low pitch and much slower, saying as if static was corrupting it. As Charon sang, the Ghastly moved around as if it was dancing around him. There was also a black hole opening up beneath Charon while the song was playing. Abruptly the song stopped along with the Ghastly, and Charon said the following. Thank you for bringing me here. These souls, and mine, will rest now. We're not done yet, however. Your turn will come. Your turn will come, and I will, in 5 days, I will come get you. After this, they had said they had trouble sleeping, but the story ends with the following line. It's almost been a week, and so far, nothing's happened. First and foremost, let's tackle who Charon is. He's named after the Greek ferryman of the dead. That depiction works well for him because Charon in Greek myth forced people who cannot pay his fee to walk along the bank of the river Styx for 100 years. The Pokewalker the protagonists find him in could be a reference to that punishment. And the Ghastly could be a reference to the souls that Charon helps cross the river, saying that their souls can now rest, which would mean that they would cross the river into the underworld, where they would be in their eternal resting place. Even the old chateau backs this up, with being a place of death and haunted by ghosts. This could be the figurative river Styx in this story. So with the role of Charon set, what exactly is this story about? Well, given Charon is fulfilling his role as the ferryman of the dead, our protagonist might be dead. Charon saying that you come back to the protagonist in 5 days, that could be that Charon's fulfilling the role of for the lack of a better term, prophet. While Charon has never killed anyone in Greek myth, he would likely know when people are going to die. That's what I think Charon is doing. I think he's telling the kid when he's going to die, potentially by the hands of Charon himself. But personally, I think it's more of a Final Destination type death, or the environment will end up killing the protagonist. In the end, I think that's the story of Clipchamp. The ferryman shows up to tell the kid he will die in 5 days, but without telling him how or why. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If there are any other specific creepypastas you want me to take a look at, I'm more than willing to read it and make a video on it. With all that said, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.